Grabbing 5, use a bitch 5. Use a bitch 5. Shut up, bitch. Figaro, shut up, bitch. Shut up, bitch. Dead homie, shut up.
And then that's when Cuz came with just a couple vicious punches. The chin cone, neighborhood crept the temple, and then Cuz hit me somewhere right here. Cuz I couldn't breathe, I fell.
YoungThreat's story took a sharp and unexpected turn, going from studio sessions with Kendrick Lamar to being pulled into a serious public legal situation that shocked a lot of people watching from the outside. What once looked like a clean path forward suddenly became clouded by long-running neighborhood tensions and unresolved disputes that had been building quietly for years. He first started gaining attention after Kendrick Lamar featured him on the GNX album, a move that gave YoungThreat real industry visibility and a possible exit from the pressure around him. For a while, it looked like music could be his way into a more focused lane, but people close to the scene say he was still balancing two very different worlds at the same time. Everything changed when reports surfaced in early 2026 about YoungThreat being taken into custody in connection with a serious incident that allegedly happened months earlier. According to public discussion, the situation involved another individual known online as YCA80 fans, and the event reportedly took place near a local shop in a busy area.
Man, somebody went bad on me on the case.
Really?
Yeah, somebody went bad on me. He ended up on the set. That nigga got caught at the scene, went bad.
Really?
They came and snatched the nigga up.
Somebody that you would have.
Online chatter suggests this incident didn't come out of nowhere and may have been connected to long-standing friction between different neighborhood groups. Some viewers believe prior disputes and past incidents had already raised tensions, and this moment just pushed everything into the spotlight. After the situation became public, people started noticing quiet shifts in alliances and public support across nearby areas. According to online observers, certain groups appeared divided in how they reacted, with some showing open support while others chose to distance themselves to avoid further attention. These neighborhood disagreements had been talked about for years, with incidents from the past often resurfacing in online discussions.
The thought was solid and would always have your back.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, shit, yeah, hell yeah. From where the nigga was talking, shit, hell yeah.
Right.
On the real.
And so then you fucking just got totally screwed. How long did you go away for?
I did 2 years, 85.
Okay.
85%, so I ended up doing like 16 months. Turnaround trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? You hadn't done much time in like local jail type shit, or that was your main introduction to that?
I was always in and out.
Okay.
You feel me? I was always in and out. Juvenile, I was in and out. And then when I did go to the county, I had bailed out. So I never had really did no time. That was like my first time ever doing like some time type shit. So.
Right. How was it? Crazy shit?
Some older situations, frequently mentioned in forums, are now being re-examined as people try to understand how things escalated to this point. What surprised many was seeing YoungThreat at the center of such a serious case, especially in an era where public spaces are heavily monitored and every move can be replayed online. Comment sections quickly filled with disbelief, with fans questioning how things could spiral so fast. And YoungThreat is currently being held as the legal process plays out.
I was listening to music and you said something about losing your brother at one point.
Oh, yeah, man.
What age did that happen at?
Man, that happened while I was in prison.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not too long ago.
So you had to deal with that loss while you were in there and not able to really be able to deal with it, or what?
Yeah, like, me personally, yeah, I feel like I ain't even really like mourn over that shit, right, by being in prison. So I still got a lot of it, like, inside of me.
Really?
I'm sad.
Facing multiple serious charges that are still unresolved. Officials have not released full details, and all claims remain unproven at this stage. YoungThreat was already deeply involved in his surroundings early on, juggling structured routines while also dealing with constant outside pressure.
Damn. So you just like are in there, just basically like not having anywhere. Like normally at least you get to like go to their fucking wake and, you know, have some kind of closure, but you didn't even get to experience that?
Yeah.
Damn.
Like late nights though, nigga had his talks type deal, bro. But I ain't get to like experience no funerals and like really say my last goodbyes on Hoover.
Damn, that's rough, man.
People familiar with his background say he tried to stay focused, but at the same time, he knew attention from authorities was building around him. At one point, according to public discussion, YoungThreat became aware that officials were actively trying to locate him, which pushed him into an unstable and uncertain situation. He continued showing up in public spaces occasionally.
A woman and 4 men standing outside a market in that strip mall were shot. 2 are in critical condition. The victims range in age from 19 to 35 years old.
There were several vehicles that fled from this location.
Police believe the shooting may be gang-related and say the gunman drove up and fired.
But one unexpected meeting made it clear that his situation had escalated faster than he expected. Not long after, YoungThreat became connected to a serious legal case tied to property-related incidents involving someone he once trusted. When that individual cooperated with authorities, YoungThreat ended up serving time as a result, marking a major pause in his momentum.
Here off of 14th Street in Paloma in downtown Los Angeles. Right now, we can confirm that 2 people have died and 6 others have been hurt in this shooting here in downtown Los Angeles. Off into the distance, you can see the investigation as homicide investigators try to piece together exactly what took place.
The second shooting one happened when multiple Hoovers were hanging out in front of a liquor store in their hood, when enemies would pull up and begin firing.
After returning to the outside world, he shifted his energy into music and began releasing tracks that quickly picked up attention online. By 2019, songs like Who Gonna Slide and Hit Different were pulling strong numbers, and it finally looked like his sound was cutting through the noise. Even with that progress, people online noticed he was still spending most of his time in familiar environments instead of fully committing to the industry lane.
2:30 this afternoon, there's a school right across the street. That's the time generally that the school is letting out the senselessness and the callousness of where they did it and when they did it.
That choice reportedly slowed things down when another legal situation surfaced, causing his music run to stall again. While he was away handling that situation, conversations online focused on how the spotlight shifted to another artist connected to the same circle, known publicly as Treyway 6K. That artist began releasing consistent music and gaining attention for representing his side with confidence and visibility.
At the dispensary, don't know what type of technicality's going on, but everything is taped off. It appears someone got shot, allegedly.
I don't know nothing about nothing, but it might have been 2 guys in a black 4-door. I don't know. I'm just saying. It might be.
Treyway's lyrics focused heavily on long-term consequences, loyalty, and the pressure of limited options, themes that resonated with listeners watching from the outside. His rise filled a noticeable gap while YoungThreat was unavailable, keeping the group's name active in music discussions.
2 men, black, in a 4-door black car with stock rims, possibly a Nissan or a Honda. They pulled up, they parked right there, got off, went into there, shots rang off by maybe 8, 9 shots rang off. That's all it was, really.
By 2021, YoungThreat returned under supervision and quickly reconnected with Treyway 6K in the studio. Tracks like Out on Bail marked his attempt to regain momentum, even though public records showed he was already facing strict conditions. Despite the opportunity to reset, online viewers felt he was still too closely tied to unresolved conflicts, with his lyrics continuing to reference rivalries indirectly. Some of the lyrics connected to this circle reflected fast money pressure and risky choices, describing a mindset focused on quick gains and survival rather than long-term planning. The themes often hinted at constant tension, competition, and trust issues that followed them wherever they went. Public discussion has long pointed out that the H. Trey Hoover group had ongoing disputes across different areas of the city, creating a complicated web of rivalries that spilled into music narratives. In one track, Treyway referenced being questioned by authorities about affiliations, making it clear he didn't align himself with either side and preferred to stay separate from broader labels. Online rumors also circulated claiming that certain members were involved in shady industry behavior when artists traveled without proper connections. These claims remain unverified, but they added to the image of a group that many outsiders viewed as unpredictable and controversial. Treyway's rise became more complicated after his name was publicly linked to a widely discussed industry case from 2020. Even though the details were handled through the legal system and resolved there, the association alone caused heavy scrutiny and online backlash that followed him everywhere. According to interviews and fan discussions, Treyway believed some industry figures quietly distanced themselves from him because of that connection. Despite that, he continued releasing music that performed solidly online, especially when collaborating with YoungThreat in the studio. That momentum shifted when Treyway became involved in a serious public incident that was captured on camera, leading to immediate legal consequences. From that point on, his situation became a recurring topic in blogs and comment sections. Later, during a court appearance related to that case, another tense moment unfolded in public view, further complicating his legal standing. Even so, official outcomes were more limited than many expected, resulting in a fixed sentence rather than extended penalties. Treyway's situation wasn't the only setback connected to YoungThreat's circle, as multiple associates faced long-term legal restrictions around the same time. Taken together, these events painted a picture of how fast momentum can shift when pressure from the outside keeps piling up. After returning and stepping back into the studio, YoungThreat began collaborating with an artist known as Jack 5, who was connected to the 107 Hoover Circle and already had a strong online presence. Their connection quickly drew attention due to existing tensions with other neighborhood figures that were already being discussed heavily on social media. Jack 5 had a reputation for being outspoken and confrontational in public settings, something that frequently placed him at the center of online debates. Even individuals from rival circles openly acknowledged past confrontations, which only added to the internet buzz surrounding his name. At the same time, Jack 5 was putting consistent effort into music, making it clear that he wanted to transition toward a more focused creative path. However, that momentum slowed when he became involved in another legal situation, sparking widespread rumors that quickly spread across platforms. Some online posts exaggerated the outcome of that case, claiming extreme consequences that were later shown to be inaccurate. In reality, official records reflected a fixed sentence connected to a prior unresolved matter with no immediate possibility of early release. As more artists from YoungThreat's circle faced legal restrictions, the group's presence in the music scene began to thin out. Even so, YoungThreat continued recording and releasing music, though people close to him noticed a shift in how seriously he approached his career. Rather than chasing industry meetings or long-term plans, he spent most of his time staying local and disconnected from larger opportunities. For a while, it seemed like music was no longer his main focus, despite the potential he clearly had. That outlook changed dramatically when Kendrick Lamar reached out and brought renewed attention to several underground Los Angeles artists. YoungThreat became one of the standout names associated with the GNX project, suddenly finding himself back in headlines and conversations across the culture. With Kendrick Lamar's co-sign bringing fresh attention, YoungThreat suddenly found himself under a brighter spotlight than ever before. Industry blogs, reaction channels, and fans who had never heard of him before were now digging into his catalog and background. For a moment, it looked like this was the clean reset people had been waiting for. The Kendrick connection gave YoungThreat credibility, visibility, and access to rooms that had previously felt out of reach. But according to online discussion, that attention also came with pressure. Old clips, past lyrics, and unresolved situations started circulating again, keeping his name tied to controversy instead of just music. People close to the scene noticed that YoungThreat didn't fully lean into the opportunities that were opening up. Instead of relocating or locking into a strict creative routine, he stayed rooted in familiar environments that kept distractions close. Some fans believe this was a missed chance to fully transition into the industry lane. Others argued that stepping away from everything he knew wasn't as easy as outsiders made it sound. As momentum built online, expectations rose fast. Viewers started watching his every move, analyzing interviews, lyrics, and even who he was seen with. That level of scrutiny made it harder for him to move quietly or make mistakes without instant backlash. Every headline felt heavier and every rumor spread faster than before. By the time his name became a regular topic across platforms, the narrative had already started slipping out of his control. What began as a musical breakthrough slowly turned into a constant balancing act between progress and pressure. As the spotlight stayed fixed on YoungThreat, people began questioning what his next move would be. The attention was no longer just about music drops, but about whether he could actually shift his direction while the pressure kept stacking up. Online commentary started framing his story as a crossroads moment. Some viewers felt this was the point where he either locked into the industry path or stayed tied to patterns that had already slowed him down before. Despite the noise, YoungThreat continued recording, though releases became more spaced out and less coordinated. Instead of a clear rollout or media push, his music appeared more sporadically, leaving fans unsure about his long-term plan. Behind the scenes, conversations hinted that trust issues and loyalty questions were shaping his decisions. People around him reportedly had different ideas about what success should look like, creating quiet tension that never fully spilled into the open. At the same time, the industry moves fast, and attention doesn't wait. New artists were popping up weekly, and the window that Kendrick's cosign opened wasn't guaranteed to stay open forever. Fans began debating whether YoungThreat needed a full reset, including a new team and new surroundings. Others argued that staying grounded where he came from was part of what made his music feel authentic. As speculation grew, silence from YoungThreat only added to the mystery. Without clear statements or direction, the narrative kept being written by outsiders instead of by him. What became clear was that opportunity alone wasn't enough. Momentum needed structure, discipline, and timing to survive the constant churn of the music world. As time went on, the conversation around YoungThreat shifted from hype to uncertainty. Fans who once focused on his sound started asking bigger questions about consistency, direction, and long-term focus. Industry watchers pointed out that visibility alone doesn't guarantee stability. Without a clear plan, even the biggest moments can fade faster than expected. YoungThreat's releases during this period reflected that tension. Some tracks showed flashes of growth and reflection, while others felt stuck in familiar patterns that listeners had already heard before. Online reactions became split. One side believed he was still finding his footing, while others felt he wasn't fully committing to the opportunity placed in front of him. At the same time, the people around him were changing. Some familiar faces were no longer present, while new connections hadn't fully solidified yet. That kind of transition can slow momentum, especially when expectations are high. Every move started feeling heavier, and every delay sparked more speculation. Instead of controlling the narrative, YoungThreat stayed mostly quiet. That silence allowed assumptions to fill the gaps, shaping public opinion without his input. Observers began describing his situation as unfinished business. The talent was clear, the recognition was real, but the follow-through remained uncertain. In the fast-moving music world, timing is everything. Windows open and close quickly, and hesitation can cost more than outright failure. By this stage, YoungThreat's name had become more associated with conversation than actual releases. Fans were still watching closely, but the energy had shifted from excitement to cautious curiosity. Music pages and comment sections kept revisiting the same question. Was he preparing a real comeback or slowly drifting away from the moment that once seemed locked in? Without clear updates, even supporters struggled to read the situation. Behind the scenes, people familiar with the scene suggested that personal priorities and outside obligations were taking up more space. That made it harder to stay locked into a consistent creative rhythm. At the same time, the industry doesn't pause for anyone. While YoungThreat stayed relatively quiet, newer voices stepped in and filled the gap, changing the landscape around him. Some listeners felt his silence added mystery and depth. Others believed it weakened his position by letting momentum cool off too long. What remained undeniable was the potential that still surrounded his name. Every time an older track resurfaced or a feature got replayed, the response showed that interest never fully disappeared. Still, interest alone wasn't enough to shift the narrative. Without movement, speculation kept doing the talking. As the months passed, YoungThreat's story turned into a lesson about timing, pressure, and visibility. Opportunities don't always vanish, but they rarely wait forever either. Whether he chose to step forward or stay distant, the moment had already changed him. The spotlight had shown both what was possible and what could slip away just as fast. At this point, YoungThreat's journey started being discussed less as breaking news and more as a case study. People weren't just reacting anymore, they were analyzing patterns and long-term choices. Music commentators began comparing his situation to other artists who had early recognition but struggled to maintain direction. The conversation shifted toward discipline, structure, and how artists respond once the spotlight stops chasing them. Fans noticed that whenever YoungThreat did surface online, the interest was still there. Clips, reposts, and old collaborations continued to circulate, proving his name hadn't faded completely. Still, the gap between appearances made every move feel heavier. Without consistency, even small updates sparked big reactions, showing how closely people were still watching. Behind the scenes, speculation suggested that rebuilding momentum required more than just talent. It meant planning, reliable support, and a willingness to step into unfamiliar spaces. Some supporters argued that taking time away could be a smart reset. Others felt that time was the one thing he couldn't afford to waste. What stood out most was how his story resonated beyond music. Viewers saw reflections of pressure, expectations, and how fast opportunities can shift when attention moves elsewhere. By now, YoungThreat symbolized a crossroads that many creatives face. The question was no longer about ability, but about follow-through. The longer the pause lasted, the more the narrative hardened. Silence slowly turned into assumptions, whether fair or not. As the discussion continued, one reality became clear. The door wasn't fully closed, but it wasn't wide open either. When YoungThreat appeared on the project, his verse immediately stood out to listeners who were hearing him for the first time. He spoke confidently about focus, discipline, and staying sharp under pressure, lines that caught attention without explaining too much. For many rap fans, that moment marked his official introduction. YoungThreat later shared that Kendrick Lamar reaching out pushed him to take recording more seriously and sharpen his approach in the booth. Being part of the GNX project put him in a rare spotlight, and he made sure to acknowledge Kendrick directly on the track Dot. That collaboration created a sense that things were finally lining up after years of setbacks. He tried to build on that momentum, but the follow-up didn't land the way people expected. When YoungThreat released a new project in 2025, most of the tracks struggled to gain traction on streaming platforms. It became a clear reminder that one major feature doesn't guarantee long-term success. Even fans who supported him were surprised by how quickly attention cooled off. The last time his name gained wider traction was early 2025, after a public event connected to a video shoot was interrupted by authorities. After that, updates slowed, and his music presence became quieter. Since then, YoungThreat's situation has shifted away from music and into legal uncertainty, with very few official details made public. There's still a lot that remains unclear, and much of what circulates online is based on speculation rather than confirmed facts. Meanwhile, the broader circle connected to his background continues to show up in headlines, often for the wrong reasons. Public behavior on social media has kept attention on them, but not in ways that benefit anyone's future. As of now, YoungThreat remains unavailable while the legal process moves forward and his music career is effectively paused. What happens next is still unknown, and only time will tell how this chapter closes. That's the full breakdown of YoungThreat's rise, setbacks, and unanswered questions. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with others who follow music stories like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.